Hello, learners. Welcome to this segment of ours. I am instructor CP Ringo Frederick. So it is a continuation of our business data analytics. And remember, so far, of course, we've done several concepts in relation to financial management, of course, including the concept of the time value of money in business data analytics. I've also guided you on various functions that you can use when it comes to business data analytics. So in our segment today, I want us to continue with the same concept. So our focus mainly will be on financial management, and the concept will be the aspect of talk about loan amortization schedule. So the whole concept and the whole function that will always be required to understand anytime whenever we are dealing with loan amortization. So this should take us to question from our past paper, that was August 2024, the last sitting paper, question number 22. Last sitting paper, question number 22 is what I want us to consider. So I'm also going to attach, of course, this question in our platform so that at least where you can see the notes, if you go to the notes, you're going to get the question and you can, of course, download it, so that once you're doing it on this end, you're also doing it on your end, just to make things much easier, okay? So talking of that, these are what you're told. Question number 22, this is in regard to Manoti Were. So you're told like Manoti Were has recently been thinking of buying his dream car. A few years after joining Rafiki Circle, having established a Mercedes E-Class vehicle will cost between 2.7 to 3 million. He approached the circle for a loan of 2 million, with the difference to come from the sale of his current car with a current market resale value of 1 million. The circle confirmed that Manoti Were qualifies for the loan and were willing to advance him a new loan under the following terms and conditions. The loan amount of 2 million, period is 5 years, repayment frequency monthly, annual interest rate 11%, monthly repayment of 43,485. Additional information, a good examiner is telling us that the loan is to be repaid on a monthly basis. The first installment is due at the end of the first month after loan disbursement. Manoti Were has approached you for advice as he does not understand how the repayment amounts and interest on loan are arrived at. So we are required here to fulfill the question. We are required, using an appropriate MS Excel function, confirm to Manoti Were that indeed the monthly repayment amount is 43,485 is actually the value. Is actually the correct value. Part B of the question, you are told to prepare a monthly loan amortization schedule for the above loan for Manoti Were to see how the loan clears by the end of 5 years, okay? Have columns for period, monthly repayment, principal, interest, and loan balance, okay? As a customer-centric circle, I love that, as a customer-centric circle, yeah? As a customer-centric circle, the circle members are allowed to vary the loan terms. We can, of course, adjust our loan terms to their preferences as long as it is aligned to the loan terms, okay? Help Manoti Were to fill the table below with the correct repayment period and loan amount in column C and D respectively, that allows him to make monthly repayment amount of 35,000 and not the proposed value of 43,045. So we need to be flexible in a sense that I'm not able to manage to raise 43,045, but what we can manage is 35,000. So we are required here to simply come and advise Were on the loan amount that he can take, given the data that you're given here, plus probably the correct repayment period given our set data here. So column C and D, you're supposed to fill it. So in this case, the question you're given 20 good marks, that is 12, 14, 6, 20 good marks, yeah? So how do you go about it? Of course, you're going to start with the first case where you're asked, of course, to work out to confirm to Were that whatever that was given is actually the case. So task here is to simply confirm to Were that whatever that he was given is actually the case. So these are solution. First case, we need to confirm to Were that whatever that he was given is actually the correct value. How will you go about it? At this point, we are supposed to use the payment function. From which data? This is the data that you're given. So just copy paste this data here, okay? So having all our details, that is to say loan amount is 2 million, period is 5 years. 5 years will translate to how many months? 5 by 12, give us like 60 months. We will also be required to determine, of course, the monthly interest rate. So you're having a monthly interest rate, monthly interest rate, monthly interest rate, where in this case you'll be required to take, of course, that value, divide by 12 into percentage form. So these are what, of course, are what we should be having. These are what we should be having, yeah? These are what we should be having. So noting this one, then we need to confirm that whatever that this person was given Were is actually the value as indicated there. So how will we confirm that? At this point, my good students, we have to use what? The PMT function. Remember, Mwalimu taught us about the functions. Like the last question, the other question that we did the same year, question number 25, which was more to do the function. And at this point, Mwalimu elaborate and talk about function into details. So in our case here, we are supposed to use what? The PMT function is what you're going to use. Okay. So we need to prove to Were that whatever that he was given here is actually the case. So these are PMT, okay? So how will you go about it? In this case, we do equal sign. For every function, we always start with an equal sign. So we're having an equal sign, then we have PMT tab. The rate, you take the monthly rate, which is that value that we determine. You do comma. Number of period, because I'm paying on a monthly basis, so you take the repayment frequency in months, which is 60 months, comma. In this case, the present value of the loan. Currently, what is our present value of the loan, which is a liability, so minus the present value, which is 2 million. So once I've done like that, all I do is just do what? To press enter. Once I've pressed enter, you'll see that we are arriving at the exact value that Were was given, meaning that to prove that this is correct, this is what you're having. So you can literally prove that whatever that Were was given is actually the same value, which is 43,485,000. Of course, in this case, because they are in decimal, you can go ahead and have it in that case. See, 43,485. So once we have that, you're done with the first case. The second case, we are told to prepare loan amortization schedule. Remember, by now, Mwalimu has guided us a lot when it comes to loan amortization schedule. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to prepare loan amortization schedule for, we should be having our period, which in this case, you're about the number of months. Talk about monthly repayment. Of course, before monthly, you can consider the loan balance brought down as at each and every beginning of the period. What will we be having as our loan balance? Loan balance, that is, of course, brought down. Loan balance, that is balance brought down. Every time you're opening a period, what will we be having? Consider the other component here. Of course, we consider our monthly repayment, which is the installment that you're paying. Monthly repayment. Consider our interest. Consider our principal. and consider our loan balance as at the end of the period. Loan balance, that is ideally about what balance carried down. We just have balance carried down, balance, these are balance carried down here as at the end. See? So these are the details that you have. Given that we know very well that the monthly repayment will be constant all through for the number of periods that you're given, which in this case we've clearly seen it is 60 months. So once I have this case, of course, the next item to do, you can input it directly, but the fast or the quicker one would be just to drag up to the 60 months. Custom, in this case, of course, we have in general. So having that case, of course, you can literally input year 0. So you can do year 1 as well, but for this purpose, just have year 0 so that you can start from year 0 when you didn't have anything. So these are the details given. Working it out, we agree that number 1, the monthly repayment is the same all through. The monthly repayment from year 1 will be equal all through the period. This amount will be equal. So I copy paste number. So you'll find that the monthly repayment will be equal all through. Okay. In this case, we're having the loan balance year 0 is 2 million. Year 1, as you're starting it, I'll be having what? The 2 million. Interest. How will you determine our interest given that it is monthly? This will be simple, my good students, because all that I'll be required to do here, all that I will be required to do here is to simply take the interest value per month, which is 0.9167. You multiply by the loan balance as at the beginning, which is 2 million. I know very well that interest will be constant all through. So you can take this chance and lock the interest amount. So we lock the interest value, which will do a 4. Okay. So once we have that case, determining our principal value here, we'll be talking about what? Because note that anytime I talk of repayment, the monthly repayment, or simply when you talk about installment, of course, we'll be talking about what? Our installment will always be equal to the principal value, okay, plus our interest. This is what will give us our monthly repayment. And given the fact that we have the monthly repayment and we have the interest, that is to say we can easily determine what the principal, which will be my monthly repayment times our interest. So having that, my loan balance as at the end of the period, we can agree we are going to take the loan balance less the principal value that you're having. Okay. So once I have determined that, whatever that will remain now, our task will be simple because I'll just be autofilling. By autofilling, these are what Mwalimu is saying. We go to the first data that I want to autofill because I'd copied the formula earlier on. So on the bottom right of this cell, you'll find that you're having this thick cross, right? So what you need to do, you just double click that thick cross. You come to your interest. Because you had locked the interest rate, meaning that interest rate will be constant all through, I also double click. I come to the principal value, I double click. I come to the loan balance, I double click. See the magic. If you just scroll down to year 0, or rather to year 60, to period, the 60th month, you'll find that I'll have cleared my loan balance, which that's why we're having 0. So this is our loan amortization schedule. Imagine as simple as that, you're given how many marks there, my good students? You're given 12 good marks. having that knowledge. So this is our loan amortization schedule, exactly the same that you normally tend to get in any bank that, of course, you're going to take a loan. So these are what you should be having. At this point, we proceed to the next level, which the next level will be upon us, of course, to consider part C. Yeah, we check part C of the question. And part C, a good examiner here had asked us about part C of the question. A good examiner told us that now there's a change of policy. This change of policy, given the following terms which would be required to consider, we are supposed to determine these missing values as per this new request of our client, where the proposal was, I need to check in the event that we are having our repayment period, or rather in the event that I'm taking this amount to have a repayment amount of that 5,000, how long will it take us? Scenario 2, I'm also required to determine the loan amount that I'll be required to do, or that I'll be required to have. So we deal with scenario 1. In this case, of course, we're told we need to fill in the first column, which is column. We talk of column C. Column C, we want to determine repayment period. Repayment period, given these flexed, of course, terms, we need to determine the repayment period given the flex terms that you're having. So we take the exact data that you had prepared here. We take the exact data that you had prepared here. Okay. All that is changing, in this case, my good students, we want to determine this value of repayment period that, in this case, we don't have. So we don't have this, meaning that you don't have this, but the rest of the items, exclusive of the monthly repayment, to be at 5,000. So this is what is changing. So the good examiner here, this is what of course is changing. The good examiner here wants us to determine the period. If at all, I am taking 2 million, in this case, bank proposal, loan amount is 2 million. Given the fact that interest rate is 11%, what will I be having in terms of what? In terms of our terms, that is months, okay? This is what we need to determine. What will we be having here? What will we be having here, given the fact that my loan amount, of course, is 2 million. Terms, if at all, I'll be paying a monthly repayment of what? At 5,000. See? So these are what we need to determine. This is what we need to determine. So how do you go about it? At this point, this will be easy. At this point, this will be easy, very, very easy. At this point, of course, all that I'm required to determine is this repayment period, which we don't have. Okay? So therefore, how will we go about it? We're going to take, at this point, it is very important for us to remember the function that we studied of what? Number of periods, NPER. NPER function. It's very important to remember this function. NPR function, number of period function. It's very important for us to recall that function, number of period function. So looking at the number of period function, I want you guys to see, of course, the magic that we'll be having at this point. I want you to see the magic that we'll be having at this point. So this will be easy. And why is Mwalimu saying that this will be easy? Because I'm going to have, anytime you're dealing with function, always start with equal sign. NPER tab. The rate, we take our monthly rate, which is that percentage, comma, payment, how much are we paying on a monthly basis? I'm paying, of course, 35 million, or rather 35,000. What is the loan value? The loan value is a liability of 2 million, so minus 2 million. So we have minus 2 million there. Once I have that case, the next thing to do is to just click what? Press enter. So this is to say that the number of periods that it takes us to clear the loan of 2 million, given that I'm paying 35,000, would be what? 81 months. So in this case, the repayment frequency in terms of months, that is what you're having. It is what you're required to determine in this case. Whereas when it comes to the period in terms of the years, I'll just take that, of course, divide by 12, give us like, that is almost 7 years. That is like 7 years. So this is a column C, the repayment term. Here, we can confidently come and say, I'll be required to have what, like 81.31 months. Okay? The next item to do is to determine for column B. Remember, column C, already we've achieved that. So column D, it is about us talking of, as per what the good examiner had given us here. That is B. We want to determine the loan amount that I'm supposed to have now. So all details the same. What is changing is that I need to know what would be your loan amount here. I need to know what would be your loan amount. So our loan amount, the same case I'm going to have it here. We just copy paste this, whatever that we have determined. So I'll just copy paste this point here. Okay. Just copy paste this point. Loan amount, this time I don't have. Period, we are given, this case, charged amount is what you're supposed to determine. My long period or our term is 60 months. So this is 60, which is the same as 5 years. The rest will just remain the same, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm required to do what? Make a repayment of 35,000. So what is the loan amount that I'm supposed to have here? At this point, we need to determine the present value now, the loan that we are taking today. The loan that we are taking today. So that would be easy. I need to have my present value function. We need to have our present value function, which our present value function, we should be talking of what? Present value function. I'm required to have this. So that is to say, I'll be having equal sign PV, symbolizing present value, tab, rate is that much. His number of period, we are talking about 60 months. Amount that I'll be paying 35,000. So we have minus 35,000. Or simply you can just have it what? You take it directly there. So that at the end of the day, the loan value that they should be having is what? The loan value that we should be taking for me to pay in 60 months, and I'm paying a repayment value of 35,000 per month, then this is what we should be having here. See, so this is what the good examiner wanted us to determine. And doing that, you have all your 20 marks. Remember, it's always about working out with functions. The moment you work out with functions, your task will always be very easy. So these are what you are required to do in this question. Remember, this was August 2024. August 2024, of course, question number 22. August 2024, question number 22. So guys, that is what we are required to have. And I can assure you that business data analytics is a very interesting paper if you get a right guide. And we've always said that this one is purely for knowledge. Yeah. As much as exams is very important, but also the knowledge and what you're going to get from what we are doing in, of course, this training, it will be very vital in your practice, and also it will be very vital anytime you are looking at it in terms of what? A practical application. So at this point, my good students, that is, of course, what we were required to do. Our classes are on. For those who have joined our platform, I know you guys enjoy, right? For those who are seeing, probably if at all this video is going to be posted on YouTube, then you guys, if at all you've not joined us, make sure that you join us. And of course, for those who are going to watch this video on any other platform, make sure that you join in the Rasa for our classes of business data analytics. We normally have very interesting classes. So at this point, I want to wish you guys all the best, and let's meet in our next class. Bye-bye.